Did you know that India's global influence is so massive that some countries would struggle to survive without it? From food to medicine to technology, India's role is bigger than you think. In this video, we're diving into 8 countries that can't survive without India in 2025, packed with shocking facts and recent updates. Stay till the end because number 1 will leave you speechless. Get ready for an eye-opening journey. Let's dive in. India's rise as a global powerhouse is undeniable, and in 2025, its impact is felt across continents. With a population of over 1.4 billion and a GDP projected to hit $4 trillion this year, India drives critical industries like pharmaceuticals, agriculture, and tech services. Let's explore the first country on our list. Number 1. Nepal. Nestled in the Himalayas, Nepal shares an open border with India, relying heavily on its southern neighbor for trade. Over 60% of Nepal's imports, including fuel, food grains, and medicines, come from India. In January 2025, India extended a $1.2 billion credit line to Nepal for infrastructure projects, cementing their economic bond. Without India's supply chain, Nepal's economy would grind to a halt as alternative routes through China are costly and less reliable. Nepal's hydropower exports to India also surged by 15% this year, showing how intertwined their survival is. Number 2 is Bhutan, a small kingdom that thrives under India's protective wing. India funds over 70% of Bhutan's development budget, including major hydroelectric projects that power Bhutan's economy. In March 2025, India and Bhutan signed a deal to expand the 720 MW Mangdechu hydropower plant, boosting Bhutan's energy exports. Bhutan imports nearly all its essentials, rice, fuel, and vehicles from India. Without India's subsidies and open market, Bhutan's economy would collapse, and its citizens would face shortages. India's military presence also ensures Bhutan's security against potential threats, making this partnership a lifeline. Number 3. Moving to the Indian Ocean, Maldives depends on India for both survival and stability. As a tourism-driven economy, Maldives imports 80% of its food, especially rice and vegetables, from India. In 2025, India provided $400 million in emergency aid after a devastating cyclone hit the Maldives, showcasing its role as a first responder. India's Coast Guard patrols Maldivian waters, protecting against piracy and illegal fishing. With rising sea levels threatening the islands, India's climate tech investments, like solar-powered desalination plants, are critical. Without India, Maldives would face food insecurity and environmental collapse. Number 4. Sri Lanka, India's southern neighbor, is another country tethered to India's economy. After its 2022 economic crisis, India stepped in with $4 billion in aid, including fuel and fertilizer supplies. In 2025, India's Adani Group invested $1.5 billion in Sri Lanka's renewable energy sector, creating jobs and stabilizing power grids. Sri Lanka imports 30% of its pharmaceuticals and 20% of its food from India. The recent India-Sri Lanka Free Trade Agreement, updated in April 2025, slashed tariffs, making Indian goods even more vital. Without India's support, Sri Lanka's recovery would stall, risking another crisis. This deepening interdependence highlights just how crucial India's role is in Sri Lanka's stability. As ties grow stronger, any disruption in their partnership could ripple across the entire South Asian region. For now, Sri Lanka's road to recovery seems firmly tied to India's economic engine. Halfway through, let's head to the Middle East with Qatar. This gas-rich nation might seem self-sufficient, but it relies on India for food security and labor. India supplies 25% of Qatar's rice and vegetables, critical for its 2.9 million residents. In 2025, Qatar renewed a $3 billion trade deal with India, focusing on agricultural imports. Over 700,000 Indian workers in Qatar send $10 billion in remittances annually, stabilizing India's economy while supporting Qatar's construction boom. Qatar's LNG exports to India also hit record highs this year, showing mutual dependence. Without India's food and manpower, Qatar's growth would falter. This deep interdependence highlights how crucial India is to Qatar's long-term stability. As global alliances shift in 2025, Qatar continues to prioritize its relationship with India. In many ways, the partnership isn't just economic, it's a lifeline for both nations. Number 6 now, let's talk about Bangladesh, a country whose economy is deeply linked to India. Bangladesh imports $14 billion worth of goods from India annually, including cotton, cereals, and electricity. In February 2025, India increased power exports to Bangladesh by 10%, preventing blackouts. India's textile market absorbs 40% of Bangladesh's garment exports, while Indian investments in Bangladesh's pharma sector grew by $500 million this year. With shared rivers like the Ganges, India's water management is critical for Bangladesh's agriculture. Without India, Bangladesh would face trade deficits and energy crises. Number 7, heading to Africa. Nigeria relies on India for affordable medicine and tech talent. India supplies 35% of Nigeria's pharmaceuticals, including 60% of its generic drugs, saving millions of lives. In 2025, India's Serum Institute partnered with Nigeria to produce malaria vaccines locally, a game changer for public health. Nigeria also hosts 50,000 Indian IT professionals, driving its digital economy. India's $2 billion investment in Nigeria's oil refining sector this year strengthened ties. Without India's drugs and expertise, Nigeria's healthcare and tech sectors would crumble. Finally, the country that'll shock you, United States. Yes, the world's largest economy can't fully thrive without India in 2025. India supplies 20% of the U.S.'s generic drugs, worth $50 billion annually, keeping healthcare costs low. Indian IT firms like TCS and Infosys employ 150,000 Americans, powering 60% of Fortune 500 companies' tech needs. In June 2025, India and the U.S. signed a $10 billion semiconductor deal to counter China's dominance. With 476 million YouTube users in India driving global content trends, the U.S. tech industry leans on Indian innovation. Without India's drugs, tech, and market, the U.S. would face supply chain chaos and economic strain. So, the next time someone underestimates India's global power, think again. From medicine to microchips, India's influence touches every American life. This isn't just partnership, it's interdependence, and it's only growing stronger. India's influence in 2025 is a testament to its strategic importance. From Nepal's borders to America's boardrooms, these 8 countries show how India's resources, expertise, and diplomacy shape global survival. The recent Air India crash in Ahmedabad, where India's swift response aided international investigations, further highlights its global role. Which country surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more mind-blowing insights. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.